I've had chiropractic adjustments before.
Awesome.
And fill in the blanks here.
Yeah.
So they adjust the body because the body's out of alignment, and that could be muscular, it could be bone oriented.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're doing is you're kind of just realigning the body so that it fits together the way it's supposed to.
I love this line of discussion. Yes. And that is how we've messaged our profession for the last 120 years. A lot of doctors of chiropractic, that's about the level we can talk to people about is, oh, you're out of alignment. Let me pop this. And I think that's led to this idea that, and I definitely grew up with this, that, something in my back has gone out. My back is out. I threw out my back and I'm just pushing that back into place. And that's the pop noise we hear. And then it's lined up and we're all good. That is the very surface level explanation of what we're doing. Right beneath that is this idea that I'm putting force and energy into joints in the body. And in the old system of doing things, the Newtonian model, we would put a chemical in the body. The chemical would break down into atoms. The atoms would change the state of the body in some way, reducing inflammation, changing something about whatever's going on chemically on the molecular level. And that would give us the outcome we wanted. That's the Newtonian model. Once we discovered the quantum model, where really all we're trying to do with drugs and surgery is change a state in how the energy in the body is working. And this kind of gets into Eastern medicine, chi and, life force, all that type of stuff. Chiropractors, we call it innate intelligence. And so if I can reconnect the body's own intelligence with itself, I can realign the body. What I'm most focused on is the nervous system. Everybody thinks chiropractors are back doctors or joint doctors. We are nervous system experts first and foremost. And so the only way I can access that nervous system, because it's encased in bone up here, is through the motion of the joints of the body, particularly the spine. But in our office, we do a full body adjustment. We do feet, knees, hips, wrists, elbows, shoulders, ribs, jaw, face bones, like you name it. When I align those structures in a different way, I change the way that they move through their range of motion. That actually changes the signals that the nervous system gets from where it is. So yes, I'm aligning things, but I'm more interested in waking up the nerves in that part of the body, because any adjustment I do on your body is going to end up in what's called the prefrontal cortex, in the motor cortex or the sensory cortex. And that's where your body processes emotions. That's where it makes executive decisions. The seat of what we know as neurologically, the personality, it's a bunch of structures in your brain called the default mode network. And this isn't chiropractic philosophy. This is actual neurophysiology. There's about 30 different structures that we've discovered so far that are talking to each other constantly. And they're telling you a story in your head about your body, about the world that you live in, about, the shade of lights that are hitting the wall here. Every little detail about your environment, your brain is taking that in, processing it. And it takes a lot of energy to do that. And so the brain, to conserve energy and be very efficient and be able to focus on what it wants to, that default mode network runs in the background, and it's just the same story that we tell ourselves over and over. And so with the adjustment, it goes beyond, for me, just aligning bodies, because when I make an adjustment, it triggers something called the salience network. And the salience network actually interrupts the default mode and says, hey, you've been telling yourself this story about your health, about your life, about your relationships, about whatever it is for so long. Check yourself. Just do a scan, figure out what's going on, what's actually happening in your knee. You've had this bum knee for 5 years. The knee is healed, but you're still telling yourself that it hurts. And so the brain then does a rescan, and it starts to tell itself a different story about your pain. And there's hundreds of white papers that have been published on this. Dr. Heidi Havik from New Zealand College of Chiropractic, one of the most prolific neurophysiologists, she's published hundreds of papers on this. And what we're finding is even the story of the memory of that pain, what our brain tells us about how that came to be, that changes with chiropractic. And so I can literally realign, yes, the body, but more importantly, the person's perception of reality and of their body and of their life, simply by connecting them with themselves. So
it's really interesting. I had no idea that
right?
was part of chiropractic.
Trust me, I'm learning every day.
I thought it was just the physical, but now you're talking about the emotional.
And the metaphysical, yeah.